From Walden University's Career Services Center, welcome to Targeting Temporary Contract and Virtual Opportunities. My name is Lisa Cook, Career Services Director here at Walden, and I will be your moderator today. Before we get started, I would like to briefly introduce our Career Services Center team. Our mission is based on preparing our learners to navigate career transition through editing, coaching, and advising services. Here's our Career Services team, and our main presenter today is pictured on the left. It's our Career Services Advisor, Dina Berggren. As a Career Services Advisor here at Walden, Dina delivers group training and provides individual career advising. Before joining Walden, she partnered with trainers and human resources development consultants on multiple freelance projects. She holds a master's degree in human resource development, and I will now turn it over to Dina, who will introduce our expert contributors. Dina?
Thank you, Lisa. I'm really excited to be here today and want to start off by introducing our contributors. First of all, joining us here today is Jackie Pellegrin. She holds a Master of Business Administration degree from the University of Phoenix and a Master of Science degree in Instructional Design and Technology from Walden University. She recently became an honorary member of the Golden Key International Honor Society, Walden University chapter, for being in the top 5% of her class. Jackie is currently doing freelance work for clients on Elance and writing education-related articles for well-known websites through Demand Media Studios. Jackie resides in Phoenix, Arizona. Also with us is Andy Borg, who has more than 10 years of successful recruiting, sales management, and training experience, along with contingency and retained search experience. He specializes in the recruitment of top talent across a multitude of disciplines and industries. His background includes more than 15 years within the financial services sector on Wall Street as an accountant and financial officer. Andy is pursuing his PhD in management at Walden University with a specialization in finance. He also teaches finance and business courses at the graduate and undergraduate levels for universities local to Atlanta, Georgia. And with these introductions, before we get to our objectives for today's session, I'd like to find out a little bit more about our audience today. So, what is the main reason you are seeking alternative employment options? Let's find out and launch our first poll here today. So what is the main reason you are seeking alternative employment options? And I'll just give it a couple of seconds for all of you to type in, and we'll see what the results are in just a few seconds here. Okay, excellent. I'm going to go ahead and close the poll at this time. And 55% said acquire skills and experience to transition into a new field. So we have many career transitioners on the call here today. 26% increased work-life balance. 13% said re-enter the workforce, and 6% said other. Okay, so now let's go ahead and cover our objectives. Today we'll discuss hiring trends and alternative employment. We'll provide strategies for working with staffing agencies. And finally, we'll identify freelance, flexible, and virtual opportunities. Keeping our objectives in mind, let's go to our second poll. What alternative employment option are you most interested in? Are you interested in temporary assignments through staffing agencies, freelance, independent opportunities, flexible work arrangements, or other? So let's see where the interest areas are. We'll just give it a few minutes here. Few seconds, I should say. And now we're going to go ahead and close the poll and share the results. So 49% are seeking flexible work arrangements, and 35% freelance independent opportunities. 3% temporary assignments through staffing agencies. Hopefully, after today, you'll learn more about staffing agencies and some of those benefits of looking into temporary assignments. And then 14% said other. So today we'll cover all of these areas, and starting with temporary assignments through temp agencies. We'll discuss trends, assignments, and working relationships with agencies to help you take advantage of the many opportunities in the growing staffing industry. There's a lot that staffing industries can offer you, and some of the reasons to pursue contract work, according to the American Staffing Association, are that they provide jobs, flexibility, bridges to future employment, and choice, and finally training. So according to the American Staffing Association, 11.5 million contract workers are hired by U.S. companies every year. So there is a lot of opportunity out there. 66% of staffing employees said that flexibility is important to them. 88% reported assignments made them more employable. So using temporary employment as a bridge to future opportunities. 67% reported choice of assignment was important. In other words, staffing employees are choosing assignments that they are interested in. And finally, 65% improved their skills through contract assignments. So they utilized contract assignments to gain new skills, improve current skills, and apply them for future opportunities. So these are all great reasons to utilize staffing agencies. Okay, the rise in temporary employment is also due to many factors, including rapid change, new technologies, fluctuating business cycles, escalated costs of benefits, globalization, and numerous other factors. All of these contribute to the increased demand for temporary workers within professional skill sets, or those workers that have professional skill sets. Because of this increased need, there are currently over 17,000 staffing services in business today, and the numbers keep growing. From the client company perspective, 28% of companies hired contract workers in 2009, as compared to 36% in 2012. This is a very significant increase. Okay. So while in prior decades, temps were mainly used for entry-level jobs, today the status of temping has risen to include many professional positions. The American Staffing Association lists the following in-demand industries for temporary employment. They include everything, accounting, finance, IT, office, clerical, sales, marketing, technical, healthcare, legal, industrial, and management. A variety of different options here, and also other professional fields. So how do you prepare to take advantage of the increase in professional temporary employment opportunities that are out there? The first step is to research temporary agencies in your area. The Riley Guide offers a comprehensive list of staffing firms in alphabetical order. And another great resource is the American Staffing Association, which lists staffing firms by industry and by location. If you're interested in assignments at specific client companies, reach out to their HR departments to inquire about what agencies they use to staff for temporary assignments. Contact those agencies to inquire how you can register with them and request assignments from those specific client companies. This is a very proactive approach that can lead to unique opportunities for you. Research the temp agency in the same way you would research a potential employer. Visit their website, read about their mission and their vision, the services that they offer, the clients that they serve, and the types of assignments that they staff for. Explore their Employers tab to learn how they are marketing their services to their clients. Agency websites may also include blogs and testimonials from clients. Read all of this information because the more you can learn about the agency, the more you can offer value to them as a potential employee. And finally, you can identify agencies through job postings for temporary assignments. Use job search aggregates such as Simply Hired or Indeed.com. Visit social media sites such as LinkedIn and utilize job boards. As you're doing this, add search words such as temporary employment to identify potential opportunities. And after you identify and research your agency, it's time to show what you have to offer. For most agencies, you can apply online or stop by for an in-person visit. Whatever method you choose, you want to be prepared. Remember that you'll be competing with other qualified candidates for assignments. At a minimum, you'll need an updated resume that highlights your key skills and your key qualifications. You may also be asked to provide additional details such as salary information, references, and former employer addresses. Applying with an agency in person can increase your chances of success. Contact the agency ahead of time to inquire whether they accept walk-ins or not. Dress professionally. Be prepared to take skills assessments and complete background checks and practice your interview skills prior to your visit. Organize and manage your search by keeping a record of agencies you contact and potential assignments. Following up with agencies shows your enthusiasm. To increase your chances of success, register with more than one agency. However, do not register with too many since you will need to be available if assignments are available for you or if you're asked to fill those assignments. So many times it's a balancing act. So registering for a couple of agencies is a good starting point. And as a temporary worker, you are employed by the staffing agency. The agency pays your salary and is responsible for all other HR functions. So you report to the staffing agency. Remember that you are not only representing yourself, but also the agency to client companies. Consider how you can convey that you have the skills client companies need, along with the flexibility, the adaptability, and the positive attitude to be a valued worker. When there's a good fit between your needs, the needs of the agency, and the client company's needs, everyone benefits from the work arrangement. Temporary employment can boost your career in many ways. For instance, many staffing agencies offer free training. This is a great way to improve and update your technology and administrative skills, especially if you're returning to the workplace. Inquire what type of training is provided by your target agency. According to the temp factor, approximately 75% of temporary firms offer insurance and benefits to their workers. However, a word of caution is that benefits often kick in after a lengthy time period and insurance costs are typically high. We have included a couple of healthcare resources in our resources list, which you'll find at the end of today's presentation. Temporary assignments can also offer you exposure to companies, flexibility, recent references, and networking connections at agencies and at client companies. They represent new opportunities to grow your experience, gain new skills, and build your network. Now that we've learned about temp agencies, let's see what tips our recruiter, Andy Borg, has to offer us. Andy was hoping to join us today, and he wanted to share the following advice with you based on his years of experience. Andy's top 5 recommendations for working with temp agencies are to, number 1, align yourself with more than one agency, to interview the agency staff in terms of asking who are their top clients, in addition to finding out current open positions. Highlight your brand, dress for success, because your brand is important not just to you but also to the agency itself and the agency that is seeking to impress its client. And update your skills, especially your Excel skills, as many agencies require testing and assessment. And remember that agencies are in business to earn fees. So they need you as much as you need them. So show them what you have to offer. And Andy's advice on the best ways to maximize a temporary assignment is, number 1, to remember that each day of work is a working interview. Always put your best effort forward. Understand and learn the structure of the organization. Network with key players and identify someone at the client company who is your champion, who values your work and can help you move forward. Always maintain a can-do and positive attitude. In other words, go that extra mile. And ask to get introduced to the department that handles direct hire or perm placement. Many times there are opportunities there that you may want to check into and may lead to permanent employment. We really appreciate Andy sharing his advice here with us. And next we're going to talk about maximizing your assignments. So after completing a temporary assignment, ask yourself the following questions to reflect on your experience. What did you learn from your temporary assignment? What were the lessons learned? How well did you cultivate networking connections? And finally, what new skills can you bring to your future role? Can you take to other assignments or other opportunities? Consider how each assignment can make you and help you advance in your field and reach your career objectives. Next, I'd like to ask our guest panelist, Jackie Pellegrin, to share her recent success story with us.
Hi, everyone. I actually just got a job. It's a contract job through a company called the Creative Group. They're through the Robert Half Company. And the Creative Group, they provide contract work and also temp work for creative individuals, so individuals who are looking to go into graphic design, instructional design is also included, and also marketing opportunities. So it was just by chance that I happened to come across them as I was on Indeed.com, and I applied and got a job at PetSmart. So it's a company that I've been wanting to work for a long time, and it turned out really well because when I had previously learned about the open position, I had applied externally on my own and I wasn't able to get very far on my own. So having the agency was really great because they were able to basically go to bat for me and back me up, and now I'm able to do the contract work with them, and hopefully it'll turn into a permanent position after the contract ends.
Thank you, Jackie. Also, this position is really perfect for you because it combines your interest in instructional design together with your love for animals. And yes. So that is really a perfect fit. And going through the temp agency or the contract agency really helped you get your foot in the door there.
Right, exactly. And it's nice because, as you mentioned, they do offer benefits and you get the pay directly through the, I'll get that through the Creative Group. And what's really nice, and I think this is probably not very common with agencies, is I'll actually get my benefits a week after my first paycheck. So that's really great too, because I don't have to, because I know some agencies in the past that I've known about, you have to work, like you mentioned, so many hours or have so much time with them. So that's really a great perk as well.
Yeah.
So it's always good to know, what they can offer as well.
That's great, and it's a perfect example of how these contract positions can lead to full-time opportunities. And it sounds to me the tips that Andy provided us, you've utilized many of these tips yourself. Is that correct?
Yes, I do. Yeah, I find that that contract work or temporary work, I treat it just like a full-time job, and want to give it 100% every time. So I think it's important to do that, and then that way they can see that your value will add to the company and that you can offer that, and then hopefully it leads, like you said, to permanent opportunities as well, because they can see that you're going to be an asset to the company.
That's great. Thank you so much, Jackie, for sharing your story. This is just a great example of how researching and preparation and follow-up can lead to success. So with that, I would like to transition into our next section, which is freelance and independent work. And we had many people in the polls indicate that they're interested in freelance and independent assignments. So whether you're in career transition, whether you're seeking to gain new skills, re-entering the workforce, or looking for part-time income, freelance and independent work may be the right opportunity for you. Today, about 1/3 of all workers in the United States work independently. Are you ready to join their ranks? Let's find out. So take time to assess if freelance work is right for you. Ask yourself these important questions. Do you have an entrepreneurial spirit? Are you open to new opportunities, adapt quickly to change, and are able to market yourself and your skills? Can you work with little or no supervision? Do you have access to a quiet space and basic office equipment? Think in terms of what happens if your computer or printer breaks. Who will be your go-to people or services to help you with these issues? Always have a backup plan. As a freelancer, you are in essence running a business with one employee, you. So this means you are accountable for managing all aspects of your business. Are you ready to take control? Freelance work also offers no set schedule, and work is often done at home. Are you able to effectively manage your time to ensure healthy blending of work and life? If you answered yes to these questions, you are ready to target the many freelance opportunities that can help you build your skills, gain experience, and get you to the next level of your career. Now let's start your search. Did you know that there are many professional freelance sites with thousands of jobs to bid for? As an example, one of the largest freelance sites is Odesk. According to their website, Odesk has 3.1 million registered freelancers and posted 1.5 jobs in 2012. To get started with Odesk, a freelancer would create an account, search for a category based on skills, and apply for individual projects. If a freelancer was selected for an interview or was hired, they could track their status and get paid directly through that site. Other popular sites for freelance work include Elance, iFreelance, Freelancer, People Per Hour, Freelance Switch, and Guru. And there are many others out there, but these are some of the more popular ones. And now I'd like to welcome back Jackie, who will share her experience with Elance. Jackie, how did you get started with Elance?
It's kind of interesting how I got started on Elance. I have a good friend of mine that I've known since high school, and she had a friend of hers that was doing contract work and freelance work for a while in the area of accounting. So she mentioned that it would be a good opportunity for both my mom and I to do that, since my mom had lost her job, and then I had to leave my job for other reasons. So I thought it would be a great opportunity to do that. And so then I checked out all the freelancing sites. She recommended Elance, and then she recommended a few others, and decided to go with Elance.
And what was the process of registering and creating your profile, Jackie?
It was quite simple, as you mentioned, with Odesk. You just basically you go online and they provide some information before you sign up as a freelancer and create your profile, and then you just go in there and list all of your background information, your skills. So you basically are creating almost like a LinkedIn profile in a sense, and so that you can market yourself to potential clients.
And you eventually landed a freelance position that utilized your skills. How did that happen?
It was great actually. With Elance, what's great, I don't know if the others do this, but they sometimes clients can invite freelancers to submit a proposal for a job. So I did receive an invitation, and it was for a company that does contract work for a university.
And what did the contract entail?
Basically what it entailed was updating a specific online course for university. So the company had a set of specific courses that the university needed updated in Moodle. That's the course management system that the university had. And basically it was pretty simple. It was just updating the textbook from one edition to the next, and some of the chapters had changed, so they needed the syllabus and all the corresponding online class to be updated with that.
So you gained new skills in Moodle through the process and new knowledge?
Correct. Yeah, I was able to learn how it works on the inside, because even though I had used some course management software in the past with my education through Walden, this was great because I was able to really get to see the back end side of it and see the administrative area of it.
This sounds great, Jackie. Thank you so much for sharing this experience with us, and we'll have you back a little bit later in a different part of the webinar here today. And with that, I just want to mention that researching freelance sites is important. You want to learn about the process and the policies, as Jackie just mentioned. And remember that freelance work can be competitive, and clients can hire freelancers from regional, national, and even international markets. So therefore, marketing your unique skills is crucial to your success on these sites. And before getting started and on Elance or Odesk or any other site, take an inventory of your skills. So for instance, can you serve as a tutor or maybe a mentor? Do you possess strong editing or writing skills, or maybe technology expertise or research skills? Consider your professional skills, but also don't forget about your academic skills, the skills you've gained here at Walden and through your Walden program, such as writing, editing, research, navigating the online environment. All of these are marketable skills. Work at Home Now is an excellent book that lists over 100 work-at-home sites for professionals. And we have included this book in your resources list later in this webinar. And as you begin to take on freelance assignments, you'll need to learn how to manage all aspects of your business, the business of you as a freelancer. The Freelancer's Bible is a highly recommended book for independent professionals. Entrepreneur.com is also an excellent online site with comprehensive information for entrepreneurs. Don't expect to make it on your own as a freelancer. Your success often depends on collaborations with others. Connect with other professionals for information and support. There are many places to find like-minded individuals who can help you succeed. Some of these are the Freelancers Union, LinkedIn groups, blogs, Meetups. These are all great ways to connect with others. Finally, let yourself shine through your unique brand. Focus on your strength and what differentiates you from others in your industry. Convey your brand through marketing materials, social media presence, and also through your face-to-face networking activities. Connect with other freelancers by joining the Freelancers Union. It's free. The Freelancers Union offers a freelance directory, information on insurance and benefits, resources, contract forms, and also a helpful blog. So check out the Freelancers Union. And also LinkedIn is right now the largest professional networking site and a great way to connect with other freelancers, get advice, and uncover potential opportunities. On this page here, you can see freelance groups for designers, IT professionals, writers, and even an international group. There are many other groups out there, including general groups for freelancers, part-timers, and contract employees. So do a search on LinkedIn and see what you come up with. Use LinkedIn to take your networking offline. Connect with others in your local community. Nothing beats face-to-face networking. Here is an example of an invite I received through one of my LinkedIn groups. In this case, a freelance business consultant, Jamie R., invited me to a local networking event. Here I can meet other freelancers and network in my community. Meetups are also great ways to build local connections. Here I searched for freelance meetups in the area of Minneapolis, Minnesota, and found several interesting groups, including freelance, co-working, and work from home networking group. This one looked very interesting. And freelancer supports, another great group, and finally Jewel co-working. As the number of freelance workers increases, alternative arrangements such as co-working are becoming more and more common. Co-working arrangements allow independent workers to rent space and connect with others for support and for resources. In other words, these are fluid, mutually beneficial communities that reduce the isolation commonly associated with freelance work. So check out co-working as an option. A few other alternative work arrangements include telecommuting, job sharing, part-time jobs, and virtual online positions. According to Daniel Pink, author of Free Agent Nation, the line between free agency and corporate America is blending and becoming more porous, with companies providing more flexibility to recruit and retain their top talent. Where can you find flexible work arrangements and flexibility-friendly employers? One way is to use job search aggregates such as Indeed or Simply Hired and search for keywords such as telecommuting, virtual, or flexible. You can also identify best companies for flexible jobs in your location and target those companies. FlexJobs is a very respected site that advertises professional telecommuting, part-time, virtual, and freelance positions. Along with her experience with contract work and Elance, Jackie also has experience using FlexJobs. So Jackie, can you share your experience with us?
Sure. I learned about FlexJobs through a previous employer, or not a previous employer, a previous coworker of mine, and I was just basically, before I got this contract job for PetSmart, I thought, it'd be great to kind of look for some flexible type of opportunities, because even though the freelance was good, I wanted to maybe find something that I could do and be in my industry in instructional design, so wanted to kind of get back into that. So she told me about FlexJobs, and I used it about a month, and I was able to apply for 3 different opportunities that were 100% telecommute.
Thanks for sharing, Jackie. Again, you've really taken advantage of the many sites out there. You've built your skills and sought out new opportunities to help you get to the next level of your career. This is really impressive, all the work that you've done and all of the different resources that you tapped into. We wish you the very best. You're welcome. We wish you the very best as you continue to advance in your field and contribute and continue to pursue your interest and most of all your passions. So thank you so much for sharing it, Jackie, and for
You're welcome.
this webinar.
You're welcome.
Another popular site for flexible work arrangement is virtual Vocations. As you can see here, the site lists virtual telecommuting jobs by category. And here you'll find a broad gamut of positions. And you can see here there's listed a virtual manager position and a remote senior living supervisor. So you'll be surprised at what you can discover on this site. With that, we provided today a glimpse of the many opportunities in temporary contract and virtual employment. To learn more, we have included resources and reference lists with additional links and book recommendations for you. Again, this will be archived on the Career Services Center website. So listed here are staffing firm lists that I discussed, freelance sites, flexible employment sites, job search aggregates that you can use and keywords that you can put in to see what pops up as far as opportunities for you. Networking, always an important part of being a freelancer. Insurance and benefits, an important consideration when freelancing. And finally, for those of you who want to take freelancing to the next level and start your own small business, there are entrepreneurship and small business sites as well. And next, we have our references list. These are the resources that we use and references for today's webinar. I strongly recommend, especially the books listed here, Work at Home Now. As I mentioned, hundreds of opportunities by career field for virtual, flexible type of employment. Also, the Freelancer's Bible, it really covers everything you need to know to be a freelancer and to manage your business. And Freelance Nation, a Free Agent Nation by Daniel Pink, a very well-known book and reference. And finally, the Temp Factor for Job Seekers really covers everything you need to know about working with temp agencies and helping yourself move forward. And with that, I'd like to open it up for questions. And Lisa Cook, she will help us field our questions. So Lisa, do we have any questions that are coming in for me?
Yes, we definitely have questions coming into our queue. So Dina, if one is interested in online writing, tutoring, or editing positions, where can they find positions like that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, there's a lot of positions like that out there. Some that come to mind right offhand, Wyzant, W-Y-Z-A-N-T is a huge tutoring site, tutor.com, Tutor Vista, K12.com. There are a variety of sites for writers, for editors. Work at Home Now has listings of those. In addition to that, we have provided a link in the resources list to job leads from the authors of Work at Home Now. And this link leads to a website with all of those listings of multiple sites by interest area and career field.
Terrific, thank you. So if one wants to start applying for these positions, how should they create their resume?
Great question. First of all, as I mentioned earlier, it's really, really critical to be able to market your skills. So your resume is your marketing tool. It has to be sharp, and it has to be also in the right format. So there are really three types of resumes that you should create. The first type would be just your traditional Word resume, created in Word. Another one would be an ASCII style resume, which is created in Microsoft Notepad. This is a text resume that you can use to apply online. And finally, an online HTML resume where you can send the link to someone. Career Services, if you haven't visited our website resources, we have a career management system called Optimal Resume. And it's a very robust system that allows you to create resumes, cover letters, and other materials, and even a website URL for your online HTML resume. So we have all of those tools on our site, but if you need help, you can also schedule individual career advising appointments, and we'll meet with you and offer you feedback on your materials over the phone.
Great, thanks, Dina. This question has actually shown up 3 different times from 3 different students, so I'm going to pose it to you. Do any of these staffing agencies cover higher ed teaching positions, or is it best to just go to higheredjobs.com or the traditional sites?
You know, I know there are some higher ed recruiters out there. You might want to do a search for higher ed recruiters. Many of those are really looking for individuals to fill high-level education administration type of positions. For higher ed teaching, if you're looking for adjunct instructor or faculty type of positions, I would go to higheredjobs.com, the Chronicle of Higher Ed, Academic 360, and we actually have additional sites for higher ed listed on the Career Services Center website. So if you go to our site and click on the Resources tab, Resources by college or school, we have higher ed job links to various job banks, professional associations, and LinkedIn groups listed there.
Terrific. Another question, this student has seen a growing trend in staffing agencies that a person has to pay to use. Is this typical, or should one stay away from agencies that ask for a fee to be paid up front?
And that's a really good question, and this is actually a question I discussed with our contributor Andy Borg, and his response was that if they're asking you to pay, you probably should not do that. You should work with agencies where, you know, the client company should be paying the fees. And there are many agencies out there which are more traditionally asking the client to pay those fees.
Great, thank you. And speaking of agencies, can you tell again which agency Jackie used?
Oh, the agency I used is called the Creative Group. They're through the Robert Half Company.
Terrific, thank you. And another question, Dina, what if the student resides outside the United States? Are there any sites that you mentioned that you'd particularly recommend for opportunities outside the U.S.?
I think that a lot of the sites, you know, for tutoring and for a variety of IT skills and design skills, they are, as I mentioned, recruiting nationally, regionally, globally. I would take a look at all of those sites that I mentioned, like Elance, Odesk, Freelancer, all of those sites. There should be opportunities internationally there, and you could be considered for opportunities outside of the U.S. For individual companies, through sites like FlexJobs or Virtual Vocations, you want to look at the specific employer, and it will be different for each and every employer.
Great. Okay, and with regards to freelance opportunities, are there top ones that you'd recommend from the list that you mentioned?
For freelance opportunities?
Yes, for giving like great opportunities.
Well, I think that it depends on your field, and I think that taking a look at a freelance site that really highlight your area. So for instance, like if I were to go to Freelancer or Freelance Switch or Guru, I would take a look at their categories. So they all have different categories of the types of positions or skills that they're seeking. and I would find my category. So if my specialization was IT or education or tutoring, I would look in that area.
And is one of the sites that you mentioned known for offering healthcare opportunities, Dina?
Temporary agencies, a study was done through Temp Factor, and they said that 75% of temp agencies offer benefits and insurance options. As I mentioned earlier, not many of them kick in after a certain period, and the plans are still very, are still expensive, I should say. As far as the sites like Freelance and Odesk, most likely they will not offer benefits, but we have included in our resources list 2 great resources for alternative healthcare plans. So take a look at the resources list and check out the new healthcare options that are available.
Great, thank you. And then another question, any advice for trying to get introduced to someone in charge of permanent hiring when you've got these temp assignments?
Well, first of all, what Andy discussed, when you're in there on your temp assignment, you want to bring your best foot forward. You really want to demonstrate that you are an excellent worker, that you enjoy working for the organization. Get to know people internally, and aside from the person who is supervising you in the client company, get to know others and find out about what departments are there. Try to talk to some HR people and find out how they are recruiting for various positions. When you know this information, this gives you some tools to identify opportunities and be able to target those opportunities.
And another question, are there opportunities in the not-for-profit arena?
That is a good question. There are, I know, in the nonprofit world, flexible employment opportunities, and there are probably some sites out there for nonprofits. I know the National Council for Nonprofits is a great website to look for opportunities at nonprofits. Nonprofits typically offer a little bit more flexibility, but I'm not sure if there are specific agencies out there recruiting specifically for nonprofit work.
Great. Okay, I think that's about it, Dina. I think we're ready to wrap up. So thank you very much.
Okay, great, great. We had some good questions here today.
Most definitely. So before we end today's webinar, what we'd like to do is just give you a few more resources to support you in meeting your career goals. This is a screenshot of the Career Center website, and you can see that you can schedule a one advising appointment with a career advisor. As Dina mentioned, you can use Optimal Resume to develop a resume using templates that are provided in various career fields at the beginning, intermediate, and advanced levels of various career paths. Also, you can see the next button is where we hold our archived webinars, and so this webinar will be archived within a week, so you'll be able to watch it again or get the PowerPoint slides as well. So, and you can see we're connected to our blog and to Twitter, and also we offer a Career Services Center LinkedIn group, so you can connect with us as well. Next slide, please. And then you can view our archived webinars, such as this one and others that we've offered recently on navigating optimal resume, professional branding. We offer a job search support series. We're going to offer that again in December, but if you'd like to watch in the meantime, that series is webinar, is archived on our site. Next slide, please. And then finally, if you want to email us, you can email us at careerservices@waldenu.edu. We encourage you to visit our website, take advantage of our resources, and we would really appreciate it if before you log off today, if you would please fill out the brief survey and mention any suggestions you have for future webinars, because we're always looking to continuously improve our offerings to students. And then finally, a thought that Dina came up with to leave you with, which I think really adequately fits our webinar today. What lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. So you want to take stock of your skills and qualifications and your personality in terms of marketing yourself for potential opportunities and evaluate whether the opportunities are a good fit for you as you are for them. So it really is a two-way street, and this really is a great opportunity as you take advantage of temporary and flexible work options to try out an employer and determine if it's the right fit for what you have to offer. So thank you all very much for participating, and thank you, Jackie, very much for your input as well, and thank you, Dina, for developing wonderful content and a terrific webinar. So have a great rest of the day.